I walked into the kitchen at 9:45 p.m. after a 12-hour shift on the hospital floor. My feet were aching, my head heavy, and all I wanted was to cook something warm and simple. Maybe some eggs, some rice. Nothing fancy, just something to keep my body from collapsing. But the moment I turned the corner into that shared kitchen, she was already there. She didn't look up. She didn't have to. The air tightened. You could feel it. She mumbled something under her breath, just loud enough to make sure I heard, but not clear enough to confront. I pretended not to notice, kept my head down, walked toward the fridge, and then I heard it. Of course, you always come when I'm here. God, you're such a batch. I froze, not out of fear, but from disbelief. Because I hadn't even spoken to her, hadn't touched her things, hadn't even looked at her. And still, here I was, a criminal in my own kitchen. This was the 4th time this month. And all I had done was cook dinner. I live in a hospital accommodation. 5 of us share the flat, each with our own ensuite room. But the kitchen and living room, communal. We're all in healthcare, which means we all work shifts, early mornings, night calls, back-to-back weekends. Some nights, I don't get back until 1 in the morning. Some days, I'm home by 6. Other times, by 10. But no matter the hour, the rhythm of survival stays the same. Sleep, shower, eat, survive, repeat. I try to be mindful. I clean up after myself. No dishes in the sink, no crumbs on the counter. I wipe everything down. I don't blast music. I don't take calls. I don't even speak. Just chop, boil, stir, eat. In silence. Then I vanish back into my room. Most of my flatmates, bless them, are kind. We cross paths sometimes, and it's fine. A nod, a shared pan, a quiet laugh. It's how you survive in tight quarters. We all know it. But her? She made it known from the start. My presence in the kitchen, at the same time as hers, was unacceptable. At first, I thought it was just a bad day. Maybe she was tired. Maybe she was going through something. But it kept happening. If I walked in while she was already there, she'd sigh, loudly, slam cabinets, mutter things just out of reach. If I was already there, cooking quietly, and she entered, she'd give me a look, roll her eyes, and start preparing her food in icy silence. I didn't mind. I gave her space. I kept to my side. Once, she accused me of invading her privacy. Privacy? In a shared kitchen? I didn't know what to say. I hadn't even spoken to her. And the more I tried to stay polite, the worse it seemed to get. There was one Sunday, my one day off in a brutal week, when I wanted to prep my meals for the next few days. I got in early. Thought I'd have the kitchen to myself. 10 minutes in, she walked in. Froze. And then, she just stood there, arms crossed, glaring, like I had stolen something from her. She didn't say a word. Just stood there until I left. That was the breaking point. So I tried talking to her. I knocked on her door. Politely. Calmly. I just wanted to explain. But she refused to open it. So I stood there in the hallway and spoke through the wood. I told her about my schedule, my shifts, the unpredictability, how I couldn't possibly know when she was in the kitchen, and how it wasn't personal, that I wasn't trying to interrupt her space or disrespect her, that this was a shared accommodation, that we couldn't dictate who used the kitchen and when. She didn't respond. But later, I got my answer anyway, in the form of another cold shoulder, another slammed drawer, another whisper under her breath. She insisted that I was wrong, that I was violating her space, that I was invading her privacy. I started to doubt myself. Am I being inconsiderate? Am I somehow wrong for living my life? But I wasn't stomping in at midnight blaring music. I wasn't leaving my mess for others to clean. I wasn't blasting TikToks while people were trying to rest. I was just cooking dinner. And if she had a problem with it, why couldn't she just talk to me? I started documenting everything. Not because I wanted revenge, but because I needed clarity, a paper trail, a record of every interaction, every moment I felt small, every whisper meant to make me feel like I didn't belong. Because the worst part wasn't the words, it was the feeling of walking into a room in your own home and feeling like an intruder, the feeling of second-guessing your hunger, of tiptoeing around the stove like a trespasser, of questioning whether you have the right to boil a damn egg in your own flat. I wasn't the only one who felt it. One of our ex-flatmates once told me, offhandedly, that she used to wait until that same flatmate left before using the kitchen, that she couldn't handle the tension, the side eyes, the atmosphere. She called it territorial. That's the word, territorial, as if the kitchen had invisible walls, claimed in silence, enforced through passive aggression. And every time I walked in, I was trespassing. I've tried everything short of giving up my right to eat. I've been patient. I've been silent. I've been kind. But now I'm just tired. Tired of pretending that walking into the kitchen is a battle. Tired of being made to feel like I'm less worthy of shared space. Tired of shrinking myself to avoid confrontation that I didn't start. And so I ask, am I the asshole for using the kitchen in my own home? For not hiding in my room until the coast is clear? For daring to eat a hot meal after a long day? Because I'm starting to wonder, what kind of world do we live in where existing respectfully still isn't enough? So, am I the asshole? This isn't just a story about kitchen schedules or late-night cooking. This is a story about boundaries and the invisible lines people draw when they don't know how to speak their needs. It's about what happens when one person turns a shared space into a battlefield of silent hostility, and another is left to walk on eggshells, night after night, just for the basic human need to eat and exist. What we see here is emotional manipulation cloaked in everyday interactions. It's passive aggression wearing the mask of privacy, and it hurts, not because it's loud, but because it's subtle, constant, and relentless. To those listening who've ever had to shrink themselves just to keep the peace, let this be a reminder. Your presence is not a problem. Your needs are not an inconvenience. And your right to exist respectfully in a shared space does not require permission from someone who weaponizes silence. So here's my question to you. Have you ever been made to feel like a guest in your own home? And if so, what did you do? Let's talk about it. Drop your stories in the comments and let's shine some light on the things that happen behind closed doors and kitchen walls. This is AITA Stories. Until next time, take care of your peace and never apologize for showing up.